All right, everybody, back at you once again. It's your boy Adam. We're doing a little bit of a tour of the new place, just documenting chaos to come back. And so if you saw yesterday, if I stand back here in the corner, you can see things are opening up, things are getting done. The bicycle rack has been ordered. But that one's, I wish the Amazon could deliver that one overnight, but I don't, that's one of those ones that you order and 3 days later it hasn't even shipped yet because it's coming from another seller. It's kind of a unique specialty item. It's called the Saris Bike Bunk 2. And so my silver bullet over there will be on top, right about there from where the Cannondale is. And the rack leans up against the wall and it uses gravity to hold everything in place. Weight and gravity, and the bikes are almost a counterweight. As long as the thing doesn't slip on the floor, which I don't think it will. The design of it's pretty brilliant. And so I don't have to drill any holes, mount anything to the wall. In fact, it doesn't even come with anything like that. And it'll stack the two bicycles up and keep them out of my way. Yet they're right by the door when it's time to go. And so I can keep my bicycles ready to go at all times, like kitted, lighted up, all the stuff. I could even I'm kind of thinking about setting up each bike a certain way, like taking the red rocket here and covering it with, but I don't know. I get ideas, but then I'm like, But anyway, I'm getting through I've got two cabinets here that aren't even being used. I got a pan in there. So I got these cabinets. I haven't even cleaned them out and started using them. There's space under the sink there. But the plumbing is all done with PEX. And so that's kind of a mess under there. I'm going to put cleaning supplies and, Windex cleaners, the typical stuff you'd put under a sink. The oven's dialed in. I got the legs balanced out. I got to do a little cleaning on the oven door, but the oven works great. It's a convection oven. It's a really nice oven. I cooked a frozen pizza in it yesterday with some extra toppings, bacon, cheddar cheese, and some other stuff. And came out perfect. Came out absolutely perfect. And it was a good thing to, I'm not going to do a souffle the first time I'm using an oven. I just want to make sure that the oven actually works. But honestly, it's a really solid oven. So everything works. I'm going to test all the burners as I go. Now I've been buying pre-cooked bacon at the grocery store. Ready bacon that you don't even have to keep in the fridge. You can just keep it in a cabinet because it's sealed and it doesn't go bad. There are certain types of pre-cooked bacon that you don't need to keep refrigerated. I use those on backpacking trips and camping trips, and if I have a permanent, usually I would have two bear canisters, a small one and a large one, completely filled with food. And then whenever I travel, all I have to do is grab each bear canister and I'm good to go. Pack the cooler with cold stuff. But the bear canister, the large one I used to have, it fed me and my son on a 10-day road trip, and we really didn't have to ever stop and buy food. I think we ate at a restaurant once or twice in 10 days, but we never had to buy food. We went to a grocery store and stocked up on stuff for the cooler. But the dry goods, a large bear canister was good to go. I can't remember the brand. And then I had a small bear canister that we would use in our hiking backpacks when we go on backpacking trips with a 3-day supply of food. But I would always pack those with things that don't expire. And then I would just have the expiration date of the earliest thing that'll expire. I had those set up so that you would have to take them apart every 6 months if you didn't use them, and use the stuff that's in them and replace the stuff that's in them once every 6 months. So that if it was just a grab and go situation, you know you've got 2 buckets of food, and you've got basically a 15-day supply of food out of those 2 buckets. So the next thing I got to do is get my water station set up again. It just needs a little bit of a cleaning. It's not that bad, but I haven't had room or the time to do that. But no more ready bacon, no more. I'm getting real bacon next time I go to the grocery store. Usually what I do is I'll cook a whole pack of bacon. If I get, a 5-pound block of bacon or thick cut bacon or something like that, I'll cook it all at once. When you use a cast iron pan like this, you got to cut the strips in half so that they fit. I don't have a cast iron griddle with me. And this stove here, the way the burners are lined up and everything, I would have a hard time using maybe if I did it horizontally here, I would have a cast iron griddle. My old stove at my old place, the burners were, 90 degrees apart. So I used to keep a cast iron griddle on the left-hand side permanently just sitting there because I used it all the time. But just me by myself, one cast iron pan sitting here, I can cook bacon. I've got bread. If I want to make some grilled cheese and bacon sandwiches today, boom, I can do that. So yeah, cooking is going to be a hell of a lot better here. That last place, the food, my diet was so atrocious at that old place. It was really starting to have an effect on my health, and I'm still not eating good here. But the cleaner this kitchen gets and the more organized it gets, pretty much when that counter space is cleared off, and the thing keeping me from doing that mostly right now is filling the water bottles. And I also got to clean out the cabinet under the sink so I can start putting cleaning supplies there. But I just have to get dishes done and caught up. And the water filter is keeping me from getting all the dishes done. But we're good to go there. I need to start really digging into getting the office space set up. I'm going to set it up pretty much exactly like it was at the old place. Monitor, that's going to be my laptop desk with a second screen. This is kind of like my side desk where I do whatever else I need to do on a desk. Or if I have to have 2 computers out, I'll have them out like that. This thing here, everything in that little camping cabinet, I have so much space now in the kitchen. Those cupboards hold a lot of stuff, and that little thing I'm using as a mini pantry I haven't even come close to filling them. So all 4 of those drawers were empty, so I'm just going to use them for stuff that I need in my office area. Turn that into like a printer table. And then we've got, I got a lot of work to do here in this office area, but I've got storage room, so much storage room. That blue tool bag there used to have computer cables and stuff in it. I emptied it out, put them in here. Now I have an extra tool bag because that little tool bag next to it is overflowing because I keep finding tools on the side of the road when I come home from my bike rides. I'm telling you, every single day, I don't show them all to you, but every single day, I find tools and all kinds of stuff on the side of the road. I just found a freaking brand new master lock with a key in it, with the keys still in it. Yes, last time I rode my bike. Sometimes I don't even stop because I'm like, I want to get that. But I'm on my way to work or whatever, and I don't want to spend more time having to stop, turn around, go get whatever it is. But I think I'm just going to make a point that if I see something good on the side of the road, I'm going to grab it no matter what. After I saw that lock, I couldn't say no to that. Obviously, I've got some work to do here. I'm trying to find a bed. One thing I'm doing right now, 2 things. I'll talk about those in a minute when I switch the camera around. But I've got 4 empty storage totes now that match. So as I get unpacked, these storage totes, the empty ones keep building up. This long coffin one here underneath some clothes is where the empty backpacks go. So I've got 1, 2, 3 empty backpacks. Every time I have an empty bag or a backpack, it goes in there. That backpack is my grocery shopping bag, so I leave that hanging. But you can see these shelves are, other than that shelf with my photography equipment and most of that, it's, I mean, I've got a whole empty shelf here, mostly empty shelf here, top shelf empty there. So I've got tons of space to put things. And these 2 tubs here are going to be empty and stored on shelves or whatever. And these 2 storage tubs, I don't like this brand, Sterlite. I absolutely hate everything that brand makes. I did get a garbage can that's like that. It's not that brand, but it's basically the same thing that brand would make in terms of a garbage can. But do I get a $15 garbage can for now that fits in the space? Or do I spend, $100 for the Simple Human top of the line stainless steel garbage can? Simple Human makes great garbage cans, but it's not my budget. So, but I hate that brand of the storage totes. I like the Rubbermaid one next to it. I used to have tons of those at my old house. I would just, one day when I was planning on moving, I knew I had a year to move. So every time I'd be in a store that sells those blue Rubbermaid totes, I would pick up 2 at a time and just store them at my house. And so I had stacks of these things. And they come in handy for so many reasons. Like, let's say you're doing a deep clean of your house and you just need bins to sort stuff out in or whatever. You can grab a few bins and do that. You need a place you need storage. You need a storage bin. You got a big video game collection. You need to store stuff. But when I moved, I never had to buy or find cardboard boxes. I had enough of those blue storage totes to move with. And I could move everything in my house with those. And because I was taking so long to move, the last time I did a major move from one house to another, I gave myself 3 months to do it so I wouldn't be in a rush. And I could do it smoothly. So I would take stuff up to the new place in these blue tubs, and maybe I can fit a dozen of them in the back of a Jeep Liberty. And then when I got to the new place, I'd start putting everything away. And I might fill up the kitchen counters, and I cleaned out the kitchen cabinets and started to fill those up and brought kitchen stuff. So I'd end up with 6 or 7 empty tubs to take back to the old house, refill them with other things. And so I definitely, I'm an advocate of keeping storage bins handy. So I've got 4 of these. Because I don't have room, I don't have closets to hide stuff in. So in the interest of just making everything look tidy and clean, I'm going to keep these storage bins here, these Home Depot ones that I can get easily. And they all match and they all stack and interlock with each other. So it's a system. These 2 outliers here, once they're empty, I'm going to drill holes in the bottom, take them outside, and plant food in them. I don't know what, but I'm going to use them as planters. There's food, lettuce, herb garden. I don't know. I'm going to put them outside the kitchen. I'm going to put them right in front of the house. I've got that little staircase out front, and it would be something to dress up the front of the house a little bit, plus have a little herb garden, whatever. I'll make sure that I'll put it somewhere where it gets the right amount of sun. Let's see what's going on in the bathroom. Needs some work. Storage. I don't even have a mirror. I don't even have a mirror. I don't even know how ugly I look right now. So the only way I'm going to know what I look like today is when I switch the camera around and show you the view. Don't hate, but I did take a bath in this thing yesterday. All the dirt and the crud that you see is stained into the tub. There's no dirt, there's no grime. It literally is just a situation where I've got to get some soft scrub, the magic erasers, elbow grease, and some scouring pads and some Comet or whatever the fuck I have to use and get in there and scrub that motherfucker down hard. So, but I got the hot water heater. I adjusted the temperature of the water yesterday. I got the water coming out of the spigot pretty hot. I think it needs to be a little bit hotter, but I don't want to do anything until I had to fill the bathtub with the shower head. And it was kind of nice because I left it running once I was sitting in the tub and I had it pointed off to the side. It was kind of like one of those fancy hot tubs with the little water thing that comes out the side, and it's, all kind of fancy and whatnot. But man, that thing was, I'm telling you, that was like the best bath I've ever had in my life. But I bought this shower head on Amazon, this handheld shower head, and it's got a 72-inch long hose, and it's got some filtration elements to filter the water a little bit, save some of whatever, who knows what's in this Texas water here, so keeping that off my skin would be nice. But then it's got the shower head detaches, and you've got this little wand here, and this thing becomes a hose, and you can just it's got a hose, it turns it into a hose. And so you don't even so you can have the shower head and the hose. And if I get a T-splitter for up here, I could potentially, I'm kind of playing around. I don't think the hose is long enough, but I could almost mount a dual shower head system where it comes at you from two directions and then have the hose mounted creatively along that. But I would have to put some effort into that and possibly get a longer hose, because 72 inches doesn't really seem like it'll fit from there to there. But I could have like a dual shower head thing going on if I want. So I'm going to keep that shower head tucked away. And when I move out, I'll, replace that with the one I bought and keep the one I bought. But now I have a way to fill up the bathtub, because you'll notice whoever designed this fucking shit show didn't bother to put a faucet for the bathtub on it. So whatever, make it work. But having a hose to fill up the bathtub with is a lot better than trying to fill it with a shower head. It'll be faster and the water will be hotter. So I'm not going to adjust the temperature again until I'm not going to adjust the temperature on the water heater again until I know that I need more heat. Because I want to get in that bathtub and be like, yow! Until my body adjusts to the temperature. And yesterday it was kind of like, it was warm and it was relaxing, and oh my God, it melted my muscles and made me feel so good yesterday. But I mean, you're going to see this house, you're going to see this evolve. Gonna get some curtains pretty soon. Getting curtains on these windows, especially so this direction faces the I can't even remember. I believe that the way that this house is oriented, this direction is basically facing northeast, and that is basically facing southwest. So the sun does, after the middle of the day, it does shine right into these windows at an angle, and the temperature skyrockets in here. So if I can find some good, I looked for blackout shades, but these windows are too small and those shades are too expensive. The roll-up shades, the shortest I can get are 60 inches. I can't get shades that are, in this, they're expensive. They're like $50 a piece. But I can get some nice curtains. I've got some nice curtains picked out with some curtain rods for these two windows. And they're only going to cost, it's going to cost about $50-$60 for both windows, for the curtain rods and the curtains. But they're heavy curtains. They'll keep a lot of that. They'll keep a lot of that out. Let's see. I'm probably going to change the location of this router but it's working pretty good where it is right now, so I'm not in a hurry to do that. But yeah, you got it. This is it. This is how it's coming along. The bicycle workspace. I did a little bit of homework, but the work stand's going to fit good in this space here and not be right up against the fridge or right up against the wall. There's about, maybe 4 or 5 inches of space either side of that. And then for the flooring here, the best option I can find is called coin grip flooring, but it's hard to find. The sizes are all over the place, and I basically wanted a 5 foot by 6 foot, and I can't find that anywhere. So the best option that I can find comes from Central Tractor. Some of that coin grip flooring is extremely expensive to the point where a 5 foot by 6 foot block of that would cost like $300 when the damn Workbench is going to cost $250. So why the fuck would I have that? But Central Tractor sells the coin grip flooring. I think it's 5 feet wide by 10 feet long. So where you see that leg right there on that little table, from there to the door jamb, all the way across and underneath the Workbench, and all the way to that table leg there, which this table won't be here anymore. That is all going to be covered with a black coin grip flooring, rubberized. But the reason I'm going to use that is because when I'm working on the bicycles, tuning them up, spraying the chains, their lubricant and oils and all kinds of shit's going to drip down from the bike onto the floor. And the coin grip flooring, number one, it won't let any of the oil or any of the crud leak through it onto the floor. It won't ruin the floor. And when I'm done working on the bike, I can get in there with a rag and completely clean the floor, and the floor will look brand new again. Where if the floor has a texture to it and lots of nooks and crannies to where the oils and the chemicals can get down in a texture where I can't get in with a rag and clean it out without going through, without wanting to pull my hair out of my head. And also there are cloth. All right, what's up, everybody? It cut off. Wasn't paying any attention to the battery level of the phone while I was walking around with it. I knew that the battery probably wasn't topped off because I haven't had it on a charger all day. Part of the reason why I got to get my office set up, I've got wireless chargers that I can just set my phone on, and I've got 2 of them. I used to have more. I don't know if I have. I have at least 2. I might have another one somewhere. But I can just set my phone next to wherever I am and keep it charged. But, I moved. Things are a little bit... things aren't done. You've seen the tour. I was talking about putting curtains on these windows. Like I said, when the sun beats down on these windows because of the angle of the building. Oh, what the fuck, man? This camera app sucks. If I adjust the contrast settings, there's no way to lock it. Like my other phone that I used the other day, my older Samsung phone that I don't have service for and never will. Okay, let's see if it stays. You can lock. You can set these exposure settings and whatnot, and then you can just lock it in place. Whatever this does, it does, but the lighting in here is terrible for what I'm trying to do. The light is behind me. And so, this is it. This is raw. It's not, this is me not giving a shit about quality video. So, I'll do the best I can. But I'm not even going to edit this stuff because I just don't have time. Don't care. The extent of my editing lately is when the phone cuts off I'll splice 2 videos together and hit save. It's about it. I'm not watching them. I'm not paying any attention to what's in it. Don't care. If you don't like it, don't watch. Like, move on. I'm sure I get comments no matter what I do that are negative and douchey. This one guy, I think he's from Poland, he shows up on every fucking video. He did say something that was almost like a friendly comment one day, and I read it, and I'm like, I was about to comment back and say, it makes me second guess myself when I said, your mother should have gotten an abortion. But then he left a few more comments on some other videos, and I'm like, no, I take that back. Your mother should have got an abortion. So, children like that are the reason why I support a woman's right to choose. And we'll just leave it there. Let's see. Where am I at? So, yeah, the curtains. Curtains are the most cost-effective way to make this room look better. And during the day, oh my goodness, this phone, I'm so sick of this phone right now, but it's the phone I got. Just flashed another thing at me. Now it's too hot. It's not even that hot in here, but the temperature does pick up. When the sun gets to the point where it's shining on these windows, boom, the temperature shoots up through the roof. So having curtains to block that would be good. These windows really aren't anything, they're not doing anything to keep the weather. It's going to be cold in the winter, hot in the summer. So, I'm going to have to get some space heaters. That thing isn't going to do the job. It'll help, but 2 mini splits would actually make this place comfortable. 1 on each side, or just 1 in each room. I would put another one in side by side. You'd be fine. That would take care of all the problems here. But better windows, good windows. If it's kind of like living in this space here is kind of like giving me ideas, just like the tiny house did. If I were to buy a piece of land somewhere and put a either off-grid or semi-off-grid situation, like a homestead, like prepper, kind of a minimalistic kind of a place together, this is all giving me ideas on how I would do it. So I remember where I left off when the phone cut out. So what I did, I estimated in a previous video that I have a plan in my mind, a design of how I want to design this entire space. What the fuck, dude? Alright, I don't know where I left off again. This phone's driving me crazy right now. For some reason, every now and then when a phone call comes in, I have do not disturb mode set on this. But sometimes phone calls show up and they override do not disturb. So they flash in front of me, it shuts off the video, and it basically makes the phone ring. And I'm like, how the fuck? So is there some douchey thing that somebody can do now to override someone's do not disturb setting on their phone? I want a phone where nobody can fucking call me. Like, I'm sick of phone calls. I don't ever want to make another phone call or talk on the phone for the rest of my life unless it's somebody like a friend or somebody important, somebody I actually want to talk to. I mean, yes, sometimes you call a business, but we can do without the phones. You want to place an order at a business, fill out a fucking website order or whatever, get the app. Go pick up the order. You don't need to call. I mean, yeah, an old school pizza shop, call and place an order for delivery. But I mean, Domino's, you just go open the app, boom, boom, boom. It tracks your pizza all the way to your house. I'm not saying that I like Domino's, I don't. But, I don't know. I'm just sick and tired of there's got to be some douchebag setting that a company can use to override your do not disturb setting on your phone that they probably pay the phone company for. I don't even know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to try this again. So, I have a plan for how I want to design this space out. And it's fairly ambitious for someone who's poor and broke, but it's functional over function over form, or function over aesthetics, but I still want my place to look nice, because when you live in a place that looks nice and feels good to be in, it puts you in a better place to be able to make things happen in your life and to be able to focus on what you need to focus on. I'm having a hard time focusing this week because I got to get up off my desk every few minutes. Not every few minutes, but I'll do something and then I'll get up off my chair and I'll go do something around the house. Empty a bag, empty a box, whatever the case may be. I know what the next thing I'm going to do is whenever I take a break to do some more chores. Give it a couple of weeks, this place will be looking pretty good and tidy. And then from there, it's just going to be, how can I upgrade it? Well, in a previous video a couple days ago, I kind of walked around because the first night I was here, I came up with a plan of like, okay, I think this is what I want to do, how I want to lay the space out. It's also giving me, like I said, giving me ideas on how I would lay out a space. Like, I could get a single wide trailer or a single wide pre-built house like this that's just an empty shell. The Amish build them. They'll bring them to your location. They'll wheel it off onto your property and level it out and set it up for you and drive off in their horse and buggies. And I guess it's okay to use tractors and vehicles when they're, doing this. But anyway, the Amish will come drop off a thing like this at your property and leave, and then it's up to you to build it out from there. And I'm looking around in this place, and I'm like 40 feet long by 10 feet wide. You could actually do something pretty cool if you're by yourself. If you want, if you want to have a family, you would need, I think, twice the space to have some comfort and privacy. I don't want to live in a tiny house with another person, like a 10-foot by 20-foot space with another person. You'd go crazy. I didn't even want someone to come and visit me in that last place. This place, I would like to have the ability for a friend to come over, a couple of friends to come over. If I ever meet a girl, that would be nice to have a place where I could actually bring a girl and not be completely embarrassed. I showed the pictures of the place to one girl, and she was like, "Oh, that's very nice." And she's a very discriminating. I showed it to her because she has discriminating tastes, and she only dates rich guys, and that kind of thing. And so I was like, if she says it's a nice place, then that'll be some validation there that I'm on the right path. I can't open up the door to my pad and the first thing you see is a fucking toilet at the other end of the room, just out in the open. Oh yeah, if you got to take a shit, it's right there. The toilet in this place is as far as it could possibly be from where you make the food. Like, it's almost 40 feet away from where the food is prepared. So, with 2 doors in between. So the poop molecules aren't going to be able to travel from there all the way to where you're preparing the food. The poop molecules are going to stay back here. The food molecules go over there. They're not going to mix. So, but I came up with an estimate of what I want to do to this place. And in the video a few days ago, I was like, just off the top of my head, I feel like $2,000 is about where it's going to be to get everything I need. And it's going to change things around to where I moved to Texas in a Toyota Pacifica minivan, where the middle seats would only fold down, but you didn't have the entire back of the van for cargo space. And then I moved into the last place with a Chrysler Pacifica minivan. One trip. I did have to go back and get my bicycles, but they could have been crammed in. But I figured, why bother taking the bikes apart and cramming them in here when I've got unlimited mileage on this rental? I'll just come back and get them later. But Chrysler Pacifica, everything fit. This time, that wasn't going to happen. I picked up a couple of things. The wire shelf unit. They can be disassembled. I didn't want to, but I would have had to make 2 trips with a minivan at the place I just moved out of. I picked up a few things. Not much. It couldn't fit much in there. But 2 trips it would have taken. So I got a U-Haul van, which is what I wanted to rent when I first moved over to that other place anyway. But I picked up a U-Haul van, 19-foot, the 10-foot cargo van, whatever it is, the cargo van. And everything fit fine in there. We had the back of my friend's 4Runner, and so we got a little sloppy. There was a whole chunk of space that we could have filled in the van, but we blocked ourselves out of it. But we had very few things left to pack, and so it was like, let's just throw them in the back of the 4Runner and get out of here. So that's what we did. But everything would have fit in the cargo van if my Tetris game was a little bit stronger that day. And I didn't have to disassemble the wire shelving unit. I just dropped it in as is. That's why we blocked ourselves off. We should have waited to put that in last, because we could have kept enough space for it, but it blocked us from being able to fill other spaces. And so, but we were in a hurry. I was really trying to get out of there without that douchebag landlord coming back to see that I was moving. I didn't want him to know until I was gone. But right now I'm talking about the space here. My estimate was about $2,000. I went on Amazon, like I said, Central Tractor, other stores, looked at Target, just priced things out. From soup to nuts, everything I could think of for each room. The 3 rooms of this place, the bathroom, the bedroom, the main room. And everything that I want to do, I put it in a spreadsheet. And I put, here's the price. The best price I can find right now. And it came to about $2,000. Exactly what I thought. I've already spent a few hundred of that on things that I needed to do after I got here. The bike rack for the bicycles, I bought that. The shower head. I had to get a shower curtain, a shower rod, hooks for the shower curtain. I had to get a garbage can. I didn't have a garbage can. So basic things are included in that price. But one of the things I want to do in this room is get a love seat, an ottoman, and some sort of, I've got a few different ways of thinking about how I want to put a TV in here. I'd like to be able to chill and watch a movie or something, and it doesn't have to be an expensive TV. In fact, I looked up the cheapest 4K TV Amazon sells. It's like $140. Perfect. And then I need a stand. I think I'm going to get a TV stand on wheels to put it on. But now I'm looking, and there's no power outlets on the wall that I want to put this on. But there's covers over where there could be power outlets. So I have to ask the landlord, are those covers covering outlets? Or is there wiring in those, under those covers, that's still active, that I could just go get some power outlets and put them in and have extra outlets on that wall? I think I can have power outlets there, but I'm not sure. I'm going to have to ask him. If not, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be significant, because I don't want to have some ghetto extension cord going from one side of the room up over the walls and tacked all the way around and back down the other side. Like that's some college kid apartment bullshit, and I don't want that. So I don't know if even that, like I'm looking at an outlet over there that I would have to run an extension cord from the other room into this room. Like there's no every solution is totally ghetto. Totally ghetto. If I can't find and if that's the case, well, I see light switches on the wall there. And one of those light switches doesn't do anything. I know that for a fact. The one of these light switches I'm looking at doesn't do anything. I think two of them don't work. Or I haven't figured out. Maybe they're connected to the outlets that are covered. I don't know, but I know one of those switches turns on the light in here. The other two, I don't know what they do. I haven't figured that out. I'm assuming the other two control those. So right there, if I have light switches in a wall, I could change those into outlets. And just have, and like I could get a receptacle that has a light switch with two power outlets. I can make this work. I know how to do that stuff. So either way, I'll make it work. But I want to put a love seat in here, an ottoman, and a TV. And I want to get a bed, a full-size bed. I want to get the workbench and the bicycle shop area. And there's a list. I have a list, a detailed list. And my gut estimate, just kind of my gut feeling, was pretty much lined up almost down to, I'm talking within $10. I would have won the showcase showdown on The Price is Right, or I would have gone about $100 over. So, but if I was on The Price is Right, I would have come down a little bit, down to like, I would have been like $19.50, and it's probably it's $1,900 and something with the total. And that includes the stuff I've already bought, like the shower head and the different things. And there's probably lots of little brick and brack things and things that I want to get that I'm not thinking about, but I will put them on that list. I'm just going to track what I'm putting into this place. But if I fill this place out and make this place functional, nice, and make it my interior design buddy here, I definitely think that you'll appreciate what I'm going to do over time and make this place. It's not going to be Better Homes and Gardens. It's going to be Better Man Cave and Functions. It's going to be better. It's going to be a Better Man Cave and Functional instead of Home and Gardens. Beautiful. It's going to be functional, but it's going to look nice when I'm done. It's going to look like, if I bring somebody over, people are going to be like, holy shit, you took this little place and made it cool. So, but it's just, it's a plan. It's not an exact thing. I want to get a car. So obviously, do I spend $2,000 making my home nice? Do I put it towards a car? You know what I mean? So that means I'm not doing it all at once. Like, I'm not gonna just throw all this money at making my place nice. I'm just gonna take one little project at a time, and I'm not gonna start the next one until I finish the one that I'm doing. So I'm gonna buy things one at a time and get them done one at a time. I'm not gonna buy like 10 projects and then have all these unfinished projects sitting around. I'm going to do one thing at a time, at a time, at a time. Right now, the biggest project is getting everything tidied up and put away and just arranged the best that I can do right now with what I have. And that's good enough. Like, this place is totally livable. Once I get it all done and make it nice, I'm cool. But, do I want to sit in an outdoor lounge chair for the rest of my days here? I mean, I'm not totally opposed. It's not uncomfortable, but it's it was a cheap solution for the tiny house. But I'd like to get something. Now, what I was about to say is I got on Facebook Marketplace and I started bookmarking things, and I found a really cool love seat, and then I found a really cool ottoman, 2 different sellers. But they matched. They matched perfectly. That would have cost me $150. A beautiful ottoman and a beautiful 2-seat love seat would have been $150. And all I would have had to do is go rent a U. I would just have to coordinate a day to go pick the stuff up so that I can pick them both up on the same day and then go rent a U-Haul for 50, 60 bucks. And so for 200 bucks, I get a couch and an ottoman. IKEA, right now on IKEA, the cheapest love seat, and I actually owned this thing before in a house that I used to live in, but it's like 400 bucks for a couch, for a love seat size couch from IKEA is like 400 bucks plus delivery fees. You can get couches on Amazon, but they're shit. They're total shit. A couch is... You don't want a shitty couch. I'd rather not have a couch than have a shitty couch. And I mean shitty by uncomfortable. I don't mean by how it looks. Cheap couches, they fall apart fast. The cushions are fucking crap. Everything slides around. You're never going to be comfortable on it. It's not, buying a couch sight unseen. But I generally know what's going to be comfortable and what's not just by looking at a picture of it. So on Facebook Marketplace, I live near the Woodlands. So there's a lot of rich people giving away stuff for pennies on the dollar because, every 6 months they need to change their couch and buy a new one. So you just got to wait for the right thing to pop up. Well, I reached out to 2 yesterday in the afternoon, but the love seat got sold. That's another thing, if you reach out to somebody, they never got, but neither one of them ever got back to me, but the things were sold. Plus, I was trying to haggle on the price. So when I first reached out to the person to see if it was available, I immediately said, "Would you take?" Because I always do that. Always take whatever price they got it listed at. I was like, "Would you get rid of the love seat for $100?" They wanted $150. What I should do from now on, what I'm going to do is just ask if the thing's available and say I'm interested. That way they'll get back to me and not blow me off. And if they say it is, then I'll try to haggle. And because then they're more likely to respond with yes or no. And if they say yes, if I could have gotten both of those, I would have booked a U-Haul for like the next day and went and picked them both up, then go grocery shopping, do whatever else I need to do. If I could find a bed, a good deal. Now, buying a bed, I don't want to buy a bed that someone slept on before. So Amazon's probably going to be where I get the bed. You can get a memory foam mattress that comes in a fucking box, and you can get a decent bed frame. I don't even need a decorative bed frame. I'm just going to get a standard, solid, like a bed frame that can take some abuse, you know what I'm saying? And then one of them foam mattresses that go on top of it that come in a box that if something's wrong with it, good luck sending it back. But get a mattress in a box and a decent quality frame, and then the bed's taken care of. Or I did have a bed. It looked like there's a bunch of ads on Facebook Marketplace, and it looks like it's a bed store, and they'll deliver. And the price I was getting for a full-size bed was pretty decent. It was actually cheaper than what I could get on Amazon. So I don't know if I'm going to go to the Mattress Firm or any of those, but if I find like a furniture store that's not too far away, maybe I'll stop in and say, like, what you got? That way I can lay down on a couple beds and see if they're comfortable. But one way or another, what I'm looking for, and the reason I put that spreadsheet together is everything added up to about $2,000. But can I cross things off that list for cheap? Can I find a cheaper workbench at Home Depot? Can I find a cheaper workbench can I find somebody getting rid of one of those workbenches like the one I want to buy on Marketplace? But part of the reason I want to buy that new is because I'm going to get a stool to go with it, a nice stool, and I can use that to sit there and eat. And so I want it to be clean. It's got a wooden surface, it's got a wood top, and it's nice. And so, I just want to keep the surface clean so I can sit and eat there. And, like I said, I want to be able to work on my cameras there and whatnot. That. And then, like, okay, fine. If I want to have somebody over for dinner, I have that metal camping table there and a couple of chairs, and I can set up a fancy dinner table if I want, and then pack it all away and put it away. But I'm just gonna be here by myself, so, and I don't need to eat at a dining room table. But it would be nice to have, believe me, some people are gonna be like, oh my god, you're gonna eat where you work on your bikes? When I worked in bicycle shops, do you know how many times I ate my food at the place where I'm working on my bicycles? So, yeah. And this is going to be like a hospital version of a bicycle shop where everything's clean and tidy and not covered in fucking stains and stuff like that. Because it's not going to be like used heavy like a bicycle shop, an actual shop. If I got to the point where I was buying and selling and flipping bicycles and doing repairs because I decided I needed to do something to make money and nobody wants to ever give me a job, and my everything else fell apart, so I guess I'll just start working on bikes, and maybe at some point I have enough tools to do it, then maybe I'll find a space. But either way, like, whatever I'm buying to fill up this place with is going to be stuff that I will take with me and will be useful in a real house someday. In an actual house. Or I sell the stuff. Whatever. Either way, I don't plan on... So far, the landlord here has been good. He fixed the shower on yesterday. He fixed the oven, the 220 outlet, on Monday. So I had to be here Saturday and Sunday without a stove or a shower, and that was kind of but I didn't eat anything that I had to cook. Didn't want to cook. Didn't even want to touch an oven or a stove on Saturday or Sunday, to be honest. And lack of a shower. Oh gee, I only went 3 months without being able to take a good shower, so a day wasn't bad. But I took a bath yesterday, a freaking bath, and I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again today. I don't know how clean I'm going to be able to get that tub without the right chemicals, but I'm going to try. But I'm going to take a freaking bath because my muscles, my achy muscles. Oh my god, I don't care how ghetto that tub looks right now. It did the job. It did the job. My body, my achy body I just felt so good at the end of that yesterday. That is going to be used a lot. It's going to be as if I was getting ready to join LA Fitness just to be able to go use a hot tub and a sauna. And yes, I would work out and do all those things, but why? Why join the gym when I'm riding a bicycle as much as I do? And I just couldn't bring myself to to spend the money on that. Because I just, money's tight and I can't be doing stupid things. But I don't consider setting up a space to live. I don't consider that to be a waste of money at all. So, I mean, when you consider what rent costs every month for the cost of 2 months' rent. So my goal is to have all of this done in a span of about 3 months. But I don't think, I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't. But I do have kind of like a priority of it, like what's more important than the other. And I would say the bike workstation is probably lowest on the list in terms of priority. But in terms of all the things that I'm doing have multiple purposes. So like I said, the bicycle workbench with all the tools and everything, on the pegboard, and and the flooring. But that can also double as a place for me to just sit and eat a meal. Like I have a table now to sit and eat with like a bar stool, but the stool is also there for me when I'm working on the bikes or working on camera gear or whatever. Because I do plan on taking my cameras apart, and I would like a clean space because you got tiny little screws. You got to be organized to start taking cameras apart. Taking a lens apart to clean the lens, you can't just be fucking around on a kitchen table. You got to have a dedicated space for doing that kind of crap. So just anything. I got to take apart a watch and change the battery in a watch. Boom, I can do it right there on a workbench. I have a whole workbench for it. And so I can basically, it's multiple use. I got to take apart a computer for some reason, or take apart some electronics doodad. It's a workspace, but I can also sit there and eat lunch, and there's probably other things I can use that for. It's an extra space if I'm cooking in the kitchen. I'm making dinner or something, and I need a place to put some stuff because I'm limited on counter space and shelf space here. Go over and set it on the workbench for a minute. I got a hot pan that needs to cool down. My souffle needs to come out of the oven and needs to cool down. I'll set a couple of trivets on the workbench and set my souffle there to cool off. And whatever fancy thing I'm gonna get into with cooking. And so I'm trying to make it multifunctional, but also nice. And I'm gonna hang up some pictures. Like I said, on the opposite wall here, where I'm gonna be working on bicycles. The doorknob goes flush to the wall, so I don't need a doorstop there. And I'm going to get 2 vertical posters. I don't know what. They might be my own photos. It might be like a side-by-side of a photograph that I took where it's split in half and it's in 2 separate frames. Vertical poster size, I don't know. But I'm going to put something on that wall in a cheap plastic poster frame that looks nice, but it's an acrylic frame with a plastic frame around it. It's not going to be ghetto, but it's going to look nice, and it's not going to be expensive. And what that's going to do is give me, if I spray lubricant on a bicycle and things splatter around, it'll keep that from getting on the wall. And all I'll have to do at the end of the day is take a paper towel and wipe it off of the poster print, and everything looks brand new and shiny again. So I've got like plans to decorate, but some of the decorations themselves are functional to keep the property from being damaged, from having a little workspace to work on a bicycle, because I need that. I can't work on the bikes outside here. There's no place to set up. There's too much wind. It's all out in the open. There's no shade. There's no concrete pad anywhere. There's no place I can comfortably work on bicycles. If I drop a ball bearing in the grass, good luck finding that. So no, I'm going to set up a workspace in here to work on the bikes, and if they're going to be my main transportation, then that is a worthy expense. It's going to cost me as much to set up the workspace, generally speaking, as the last bicycle that I bought. When it's all said and done, it'll cost as much as a bicycle. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of it all, $2,000's not that much. When you consider that, rent around here is about $1,000 a month, you can't really find a place cheaper than that. No matter everything I looked at. One place was $750 a month, all utilities included, but I couldn't get internet. Another place was like $1,200 plus utilities. Another place was $1,100, all utilities included. Another place was $1,200, all utilities included. This place was $950 plus electric. So It was the cheapest out of everything I looked at, except for the one where I couldn't get internet, and it was way out there too. So I feel like I did well, but for the cost of 2 months rent, I can make this place really nice. And like I said, I don't have to do it all tomorrow. I don't have to do it all in one day. And I have plenty of time. I'm functional now. I was functional at my last place. I didn't need anything. So no, I don't need anything here, really, except for maybe there are some things that I'm lacking here that I do need to get that I didn't need in the old place. But I can make this work for now. And if things just completely fall apart and I'm really just struggling to eat and struggling to pay rent, then all right, it is what it is. But hopefully things will start picking up more as I settle into this. And I don't know what else to say from there, but I'm not going to do any more videos today. I'm going to do one a day, and I'll do one video a day for a while. And I am in the process of uploading all of the videos that I shot throughout the rest of May. There's a few of those going up, but I'm trying to make it so that you at least see a new video show up each day. And I know I dumped a whole bunch of them on you last weekend because I thought I would get more up. But then, I've been busy last few days. I've been very busy. And so I kind of spread it out so that the new ones I uploaded, I'm doing one each day. But I'm going to schedule them out till Sunday this week. And then if I get more, I'll just backfill them so that you see more of them come out. And then that gives me until Sunday to figure out what I'm going to do for Monday through Friday next week. And so I'm going to try to, I don't know, I've got some ideas, but you see what the place looks like right now. I don't have a lot of time on my hands. But once I get the office set up and like really nailed down and tidy and like ready to work, extra monitor, all the little things that make that more efficient. Once I get the floor cleaned off, all my clothes put away, like just packing my bag to go on a bike ride for the next time I have to go to the bakery on Saturday. If I don't get all the clothes put away and all that kind of stuff done, that's going to be a shitty morning to wake up to and have to pack and get ready to go to that job. I got to figure out laundry. I'm making new dirty clothes every day, and I still don't have the washing machine thing I want to get on Amazon. That's my next priority, really. That's the one thing I'm getting next. I have a space for the dryer. It's the perfect space to put the dryer I want to get. But I'm not in a hurry to get the dryer because I can dry the clothes. I can hang clothes on the freaking shower curtain rod, and I can hang them in other places in here to dry. So I'm not even worried about that. I can really go ghetto on. I can run a piece of paracord across a room and just hang clothes on a piece of paracord. I already see 3 places I can boom, 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 boom. I can just run a paracord line around this room in about 3 minutes. Oh my goodness, oh my God, I could do it. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could run a line of paracord around this whole room, and I see where I could anchor it all to right there too. 1, 2, basically a big triangle of paracord, 2 levels deep, and I could do it in about a minute and a half, and then hang all my clothes on it, and when they're all dry, take the paracord and put it away. Done. So that I'm not worried about. The washing part, though, I'm not going to sit here and scrub fucking laundry in a bathtub and go, one fucking sock and one pair of underwear at a time. That ain't happening. So, but I don't want to go to the freaking. It's 1.8 miles each way to the laundromat, but I would have to take all my clothes in a backpack, walk down there, sit there while the freaking thing runs. I'm only gonna have to do one load, but then I'll have to come back. The one thing I think I will go to the laundromat for, though, is the cover for my camping cot. Now that natural light's coming in the room, I'm like, man, that needs to be washed. That cover needs to be washed, and my blanket needs to be washed. I have one blanket, but it's Texas, so, those aren't going to fit in this washing machine that I'm getting from Amazon. But I want to order the thing, but I kind of feel like I need to hook up the shower thing first. Make sure that hose can fill up the bathtub, because that hose is also going to be what I use to fill up the washing machine, because that doesn't have a water intake. It might have a thing, but most people just put them in the bathtub and fill it with the handheld shower thing. But I'm just going to make sure that works the way I want it to. And I also have to just reconcile all my bank accounts. I've had so many random transactions, having to get the U-Haul, the wire shelving, the groceries. I bought the shower head, got the wire shelving I just said, the shower curtain, the rod, that kind of stuff. Other bills have come out of my, like, there's money just flying around. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And so I can't buy anything on Amazon. I can't even do grocery shopping or anything until I know what the hell's going on there. And I got to sit down and look at it all and see what's up, what money's coming in. Speaking of money coming in, I'm getting a nice YouTube payout this month. April, I didn't meet the threshold in April, but I was like $5 short for April of meeting the threshold of where YouTube will pay you. But then in May, I got more than that. So I'm going to get a chunk of money from YouTube this month, in the middle of the month. And I was talking about how I need to get hard drives because I'm running out of space to put my files and backup files. And so I'm going to use the money that YouTube gives me for YouTube. Because it's YouTube's fault. It's this channel's fault that I'm running out of hard drive space quicker than I normally would. And so whatever hard drives that I can afford with the money that I earn from the channel, that's going to be my budget for buying hard drives. And whatever I get at that point. What I want and what I'll probably get are two different things. And basically the one I want gives me at least a year, or possibly at least a year, before I would have to find something else and upgrade my storage solutions again. I would get at least a year on that. The one that I'll probably end up getting 3-4 months at the current pace, but the pace can change. I'm not going to shoot as many videos as I did over the last month. So I don't know. It's all, whatever I have to do, I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this thing going. And, but I thought that was another interesting thing, that YouTube will actually pay me this month enough money to continue, doing what I have to do to maintain this channel without me having to pay for it from other means. And so, I'm going to get a small paycheck next from the bakery because of the day that the fucking landlord went into my place and fucked around and took the camera down off the wall and kind of forced me to come home and see what the hell he was doing. And then I went home I only lost 15 minutes last weekend. I went home 15 minutes early because we were slow and they were sending people home early, but I was waiting for a friend to come in and pick up something that I set aside for him. And the friend that helped me move, I set aside a cake and let him come and get a cake and some other stuff. And so that happened, and then I left. And it was like 15 minutes early. I was like, do I really want to? Somebody was like, you can go now. And I'm like, all right. All right, I'll get home earlier. 15 minutes earlier. That's fine with me. So, but that's going to be a crappy paycheck. It'll pay for groceries and stuff, but yeah. I got to get moving. So with that, that's the update. I don't know if I'll shoot a video tomorrow. I'll probably shoot something. It is, if you made it this far, it's June something, June 4th today. So you'll probably be watching this in a few days. I'm assuming. It just depends on how long it takes me to get all the videos pushed up that I'm in the process of pushing up right now. I'm not going to just throw away the videos that I shot between, April 3rd and today. But I don't care if I put up 6 in a single day, they're not going to get as many views as they would if I put one up a day, but I'm not going to do that. I just want to get them up there, move on with my life, and just I'm not going to pretend this whole shit show never happened, but I'm hoping that things that can just move forward and things can just improve and continuously. Hopefully I can talk about what improved from last week to this week. Right now, my living space is the one thing I have that has improved from the day I set foot in here. From the second I pulled out of the driveway at the old place, my living space improved. I mean, living in a car would be better than living in that place in certain way, because I'd have a car. But every day I've been in this place, I wake up, by the time I go to bed, I look around and I'm like, man, this place is so much better than it was yesterday. And so that feels good. I'm just going to keep working on that today, getting set up, getting things just organized and figured out. And hopefully moving forward, the videos are going to be more about what I'm doing to make life better instead of being stuck in a bad situation. And it's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows. I know this. It's going to be up and down and up and down. I just had a big downer yesterday. I had a bona fide offer, contract in hand, for a $120,000 a year job Monday. When I went to bed, I was now making $120K per year. By the time I ate lunch on Tuesday, I'm a broke, worthless piece of shit. Because that job's gone. That job got ripped out. As soon as I told them about my felony, the recruiter that recommended me for the job, he thinks that I don't, he thinks I should, he doesn't see why this should be a problem for me to do my job. He's like, and he more or less said, you got totally screwed by this government. I can't believe they did that to you. I'm really sorry that happened to you. You definitely didn't deserve the level of shit they did to you over it. Just another person telling me the same thing. But goes to some human resources cocksucker at some fucking company that does, that you're never going to talk to, that you're never going to meet, you're never going to interact with. They look at it and they go, oh, nope, fuck him. Throw it in the trash. It's over. So the only way I ever get anywhere with this kind of shit is when I talk to people one-on-one. And when it comes to that 2-story garage apartment, there's something else I can say before I say peace out. The 2-story garage apartment that I really wanted to move into is still available. It's June 4th. I looked at that place at the beginning of April. I don't remember what day it was, but it was like within the first week or so of April. And from what he kept telling me, That dude's probably had 100 people come to look at that fucking apartment and he still won't rent it to anybody. Somebody left a comment the other day saying, oh, it sounds like that guy would have been a pain in the ass as a landlord. And I fully agree. That's why I gave the guy, what was it, 3 chances. I tried to make it happen right then. When I went and looked at the place, I told him, I will go get a money order right now and come back right now. I'll do it today. I want this place. And he kind of, and then he said he was going to make up his mind on Saturday. Well, I waited until Sunday to call him. And he talked to me for half an hour. Asked me a bunch of questions. Told me, oh, well, I've got a bunch more people coming this week to look at it, but I'm going to make up my mind for sure on Thursday. For sure. So I waited until Thursday. Now, I was looking at other places. I'm not going to stop looking at places until I get a place. So I was still looking for other things and trying to set up other things to go look at. But this guy calls me, or I called him on Thursday. At the time he told me to. He must have put my name in the contacts because he knew who I was. He called me. He said, hey, Adam, when he picked up the phone. And then he said, look, I've got some more people coming to look at it this weekend, and I'm gonna really make up my mind by this weekend, by Saturday. Saturday, I'm making my final decision. And I was like, fuck off at this point. That was like the 13th. That was like I believe that was the 15th. I believe Thursday was the 15th. And now he's like, oh, so he's already blown me off 3 fucking times when I'm like, I will give you money right now. Done. Rented. Over with. I'll give you money today. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna find another place. And I'm like, all right, fuck this. And then I called this place. I called the landlord for this place and said, I'll do it. Because I didn't want to go past the 15th without a place lined up. I wasn't going to fuck around and do it at the last minute. I wanted to get it done. So I'm like, this is it. This is the one right here. I kept watching the ad for this place to make sure that it wasn't taken. But if it had been taken, first come, first serve, it's how it works. Well, that isn't how it works all the time, obviously. But anyway, this guy with the other apartment, it's now June 4th. And he told me on April 15th that he was going to make his final decision on Saturday, which was the 17th. And here it's June 4th and the place is still available. It's posted on Facebook Marketplace. It has brand new photos. What the fuck are you waiting for, guy? Like, what is he waiting for? How many fucking people have come and looked at this place and he won't rent it to anybody? Well, what the fuck? Who is he waiting for? I don't get it. I don't get who he's waiting. And then, just like the guy said, just like they said, what kind of fucking landlord is this guy gonna be after you move in and you're in a garage that's right next to this guy's house? The front doors face each other. You're gonna see him all the time. How many times a day are you gonna get a knock at the door because dude's up your ass about something? He wants to come in for this. He wants to come in for that. He's coming in. What if he's just gonna give you an excuse every day about, like, he needs to come in to check this or check that. Oh, I gotta check the plumbing, or I gotta fix this little thing or whatever. But he's actually just coming in to snoop around and see how you have the place, and are you taking care of it, and are you making a mess, and that kind of stuff. Like, and then, like, is he going to start nitpicking you? Like, oh, you can't put that couch there, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. Is he going to be, like, up your ass day after day after day? Like, I can understand being discriminating, especially when it's on your property and you're going to have somebody renting out a place that's almost attached to your house. So I would be discriminating about that too. But I have a feeling, I feel like I know what's going on, and we can talk about it in the comments if you want to know what I think. Ask me, I'll talk about it in the comments. But I'm just gonna say it. Fuck it. He's a Spanish guy, and I think he's looking for a Spanish tenant. And I'm not saying that as like a racist thing. I'm just saying, like, Spanish people tend to look out for their own. More so than Americans, more so than just about any other culture. I was in prison. If you spoke Spanish and you were Spanish heritage, when you come into prison, every single Spanish person in that prison is your best friend right off the bat, immediately. And they're giving you food and they're cooking for you, and they're like, it's like a big family. And so this guy's looking for a Spanish tenant who speaks Spanish, but also has a good job and an income and all the things that you would want to scrutinize over. But he's not letting no white guy move in. No gringo is going to be living in my garage apartment. That's what it is. I'm telling you. I'm not going to go ride my bicycle past the place to see who moved in or whatever. It ain't going to be like that. I'm just saying my gut instinct told me that's what was going on. And because I'm just like, you don't show it to that many people and not take someone's money when they're bending over backwards to hand you the money. You're literally going to wait a month and a half of having dozens of people come over and tour this place before you pick one. And you're like, I wonder if July 1st shows up. I'll check on the first week of July. I'll check because I have the ads bookmarked, and if those ads are showing up, the ads will be taken down when the place is rented, because the guy's kids are the ones who put up the ad. That's why there's 2 ads. Each one of his kids posted this. If that was my dad asking me to do that, and I'm getting bombarded with messages day after day after day after day after day on Facebook, I'd be like, Dad, can I take this fucking ad down already? Pick somebody. Pick somebody, for crying out loud. That's what I'd be saying to my dad. And but anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. That's the update for today. That's where I'm at. You'll see, and that's where things are going. And one of my goals is to start organizing the content on this channel and kind of segmenting things out a little bit. Give you like the once a week update, but also do other videos that aren't dated, so that you all get what you want. Some of you want to see the up to the minute, this is what's going on right now. Some of you just come to hear funny stories. So I'm just going to try and segment the videos out and just not be like me shooting from the hip and just talking whatever comes out of my mouth for an hour and a half. But actually plan it out a little bit. But I am the kind of guy, you can give me a topic, you can give me a subject line, and I can just be like, okay, here we go. And we'll just I'll just talk about that for a half hour. You name the topic, pick a topic, and I can do it. There's a lot of topics you already want me to cover, like tell me your prison stories. Do a video about your prison stories. I was in prison for 20 months. I got some stories. That's for sure. I got some stories. And it's not what you think. It's not. Watch 60 Days In. 60 Days In is, it's filmed inside jails. But 60 Days In it's fucking, I can't even watch it. I saw it on the TV at my friend's house a few times, and I would watch for like maybe 15. There's too many commercials, number one. It's like it's like 2 minutes of a show, 6 to 10 minutes of commercials. Then the show plays for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then it's like another 10, 15 minutes of commercials. Then there's like 4 minutes of show. And then another 10 minutes of commercials. It's fucking stupid. But if you could watch it without commercials, it's like, it's like being in jail again. I mean, it just put me right back. The federal prison was a little bit better than that. But the 60 days in, it's accurate because that's what it is. But I see it from a different perspective now. If I watch that now, I see it, and like I see things that you won't see, and understand things that you won't understand unless you've been in there. But anyway, with that, I'm just gonna say peace out. We'll talk later.